Welcome to episode 5 of the Coffee and Convos podcast. I'm joined by Hannah Williams. She's at Hannah Lou or Hannah Lifts. That's Hanner Lifts or Lou, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we grabbed lunch last week to chat because I followed her for a while, and we've talked, but we've never really had a deep conversation. And so I'm like, there's definitely something behind this, So if you don't follow her, Hannah does a lot of her own exercises and films them. And she's never had a coach or anything, right?
Yep. No, I haven't.
So she's never had a coach, and what I find inspiring is I have so many people that come to me who don't know how to work out or don't feel motivated to. And so when I see someone who does it on their own without any guidance, and you can continually see results in her photos, it always intrigues me on kind of what's going on behind, kind of in her head to get her to do this and kind of continue with it and keep evolving. So Hannah, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Where you're from, how old are you, stuff like that, the basics.
Okay. I'm always weird. That's the interview question of when you're getting a job. They're tell me about yourself. And you want to say the best things so that you get the spot, but then
it's so how far back do I begin?
Where do I begin?
So it was a cold morning.
Actually, it was. Well, I don't know if it was. But I've been in sports when I was about 12. My siblings were always in sports, and I don't really know what it was. I just knew that they played soccer and basketball, and it just didn't click with me. And so then when I heard about volleyball when we moved to Indiana, because I'm from Pennsylvania, it just seemed really cool. But I was always...
A lot less running.
Well, running wasn't the factor. I definitely was still actually scared when the first time I ever played volleyball, it was at a church picnic, and the ball came flying towards me, and I was stuck your arms out. Really, really scared. I was really scared that it was gonna hurt and impact whatever. And then I went from that to playing on a high school team against one of the toughest teams in Indiana. So it was cool. I think the physical exertion helped me a lot, because when we lived in a really small apartment for a couple of years, and I gained a lot of weight from just being so idle and not having a lot to do. And then I started playing sports.
Not being active.
Yeah. So starting being active, it always was a nice outlet. Plus, the skill behind it, when being able to learn stuff. Because I don't know, there's something about sports that's just the most satisfying for a visual learner, because you'll have a coach or a person who's already skilled who's showing you how to do a drill, or showing you how to do a spike, or showing you how to do a squat, whatever. They're visually showing you and then walking you through the steps. It's that's probably why it was the most satisfying thing for me to learn to do. Plus, I just really love being active ever since then.
Yeah. So you're more of a kinesthetic, visual type learner.
Yeah.
Instead of just people who read stuff. I'm really bad. I can't read anything and really have a good understanding of it. But I could watch a YouTube video and mimic what I see very well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It depends on what it is. I will remember things that I read, but it's usually if it's a story or poetry or I don't know, a speech, that kind of stuff. When it's reading material versus hey, read this and then assemble this fixture, then it'd be
yeah.
I mean, my job now is to look at images and then assemble something, whereas I've actually seen one of my bosses, instead of looking at the images, reading through the descriptions that you can, and I'm this is that's mind numbing. How would you know what it's supposed to look like without looking at
I feel
the picture?
I know with me, my imagination runs wild if I don't have a very descript, this looks like this, it has this and this and this. My imagination will make it look so much different in my mind. So if you see a book that goes to a movie, and that's why people don't like those type of movies, because they have this imagination of what it is in their head, and when someone else's try to put that in their vision, it doesn't match up. So that's why people are oh, the book's better or whatever. because they have like.
What you're really saying is that your vision of the book is better.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean,
like your vision and opinion of it's very opinion based because you make this, you know, this visual imagination connection that's straight from you, as opposed to what someone else's vision of that kind of same work is.
Yeah.
I think that's a disconnection. So you are a communications major?
Well, graduate, but
Well,
I don't study it anymore.
no.
I'm a professional.
Yeah.
I'm a professional communicator.
And you are, so you just mentioned your job, you're a visual
merchandiser. Yeah,
And
most of the time.
Yeah, so you set up like the fancy storefronts with like the
Displays
displays
and
everything.
displays and how things look and making things look neat and cohesive and at least trying to.
Okay. So we're gonna go back. So you said you were 12 when you kind of found volleyball, right?
Yeah.
And then tell me about, because you have a very unique situation, which I loved hearing about when we first talked, is that you were homeschooled.
Yes.
From what age to?
From birth to 11th grade. Well, kind of. I mean, when I was homeschooled full time until 10th grade, and then 11th grade, I was part time at a high school. Well, I mean, I was taking 5 classes, so I was a little more than part time at a high school. It was classes that I would have, except for history, I would have needed a little bit more guidance on. Like I had some math, which I definitely needed a little bit more guidance on, and sciences. I just always had a harder time because when you're homeschooled, especially with how I was homeschooled, it was kind of like, here's a book, bye-bye, going to work now. And with certain subjects, like I said, of being a visual learner, I can't just read a science book and really retain the information when it's all just memorization and like, it would have been better to physically somehow be like, oh, these are the different body parts and this is how this
you don't
works.
have those resources that you take for granted if you're in a
school or
like a traditional school environment. Like you have like the anatomy, like skeletons and muscles and the dissections and stuff. You have like all this physical, like visual and aesthetic kind of hands-on learning.
Which is why I think like writing and communication was what connected to me, because it, like when you write, that is visual, and you, I don't know, like then you're making a physical representation of what's in your brain. So I think that's probably why I connected with it the best, and didn't think that science or physical science or something like that would be anything I could comprehend or keep in my mind, like to understand it. So I mean, it wasn't until 2013, end of 2013, when I got into, well, I shouldn't say got into lifting, but I started working out on purpose. With purpose.
So prior to that, with your volleyball, did you ever do like conditioning or like strength training with that, or?
A little bit. So when I like flashback, I think of like sometimes when it would be like when we were still conditioning or doing 2-a-days, every now and then we would go into the weight room and do different machines, but it was kind of like aimlessly, you know, we weren't, like our coach at the time didn't come in and be like, this is how you do this and these are the exercises that will help you.
Let you loose in the weight
It
room.
was just like, lift some weights for half an hour while we do our individual meetings with people, and I mean I thought it was cool. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is kind of fun. And so then after my junior year and I wasn't playing volleyball or any sports anymore, my sister Holly and I, we convinced our parents to get a membership at this one small club in Anderson. It was called White River Club. That's where my team played volleyball at, my homeschool team. And they had weights and tanning and etc. So Holly and I would spend like an hour and a half like just playing basketball or goofing off, and then like going on every weight machine, not knowing what we're doing. But like I remember doing hip abductions, and back then I didn't know what it was. I was like, this is a machine that makes you do the splits. This is weird. Like, this makes my legs hurt.
Yeah, it's always funny because when I do a tour at the studio, we have one of those machines, and some people are like, oh, it's someone called it the good girl, bad girl machine. Yeah. Legs are opening and closing, and I was like, oh yeah. And then when I worked at Planet Fitness, we made that machine face the wall, so you don't have that like awkward eye contact with people while you're doing it.
Is that why it faces the wall at all businesses now?
I think generally that's kind of what they try to aim for, is to make it less awkward and make you feel more comfortable doing it.
I mean,
because it's kind of like a vulnerable position to put yourself in, especially if you don't know anyone in the gym.
Sorry, this is really funny.
No, you're fine.
I don't I think like I'm just so far beyond feeling uncomfortable at the gym unless like some weirdo comes and talks to me.
Yeah.
Or an old lady breathes down my neck and asks me what I'm doing.
Yeah. So tell me about how you actually like started getting into like doing actual workouts and programming. And so your communications major, you said you're comfortable in video and you video a lot of your exercises and stuff. Tell me about how you kind of came about doing that and kind of what that experience was like.
Yeah. So let me think. When I was like I started school and I took time off because I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I want to study. I don't know where I want to go to school. School's expensive, so I finished at Ivy Tech and then had another year. So I just worked out for like 6 days a week. Didn't really do much of anything else. I did spend time with some friends, but like I worked and worked out, and I got super burnt out. And I remember taking essentially 2 weeks off. This was 2015, so I've been working out for maybe like a year and a half at the time, maybe a couple years.
Yeah, were these more structured workouts or?
They were pretty structured in the sense that like I didn't fully understand I didn't fully understand everything behind it yet, and I was still using an app. I used MyFitnessPal, I believe, to look at video on how to do. I mean, I was constantly looking at videos, how to do different exercises, looking up different ways to do things, target the same muscles, learning the fucking muscles. Sorry, learning the muscle groups at all. I didn't know there was a difference between bicep and tricep. Like, I didn't know that tricep's kind of more impressive than bicep. It is, but like, I didn't know these things. I didn't know hamstrings. I mean, I knew quads and like glutes, but that was, and my intention wasn't to get like bulked up. It was just I wanted to be healthy and take care of myself, and I enjoyed being physically active before. So yeah, like they were kind of routine, but I didn't have a set motivation to lift heavier. I didn't really have as much of a purpose. So that's why I was like, it was aimless. It was just like I needed something to do when I was depressed, so I worked out all the time. Yeah. Because it was fun, but I'll be there.
I want to touch on that a little bit because I want this podcast to mainly be about how fitness kind of help you or change your life or something. And you just touched on like you were really depressed, so you would go to the gym. So kind of, if you want to, like, tell me more about like how you related the two and kind of how it made you feel, kind of like you said, going there because you're depressed. Like, how did that help and kind of?
I think we talked about it a little bit. There was this guy I dated in 2013, and he had a very interesting story. And for a long time, he had really low self-esteem and had been dealing with a lot of different chaotic things in his life, chaotic relationships. But he started getting into fitness before we were dating, but he got into fitness, and it seemed like the way he would talk about it and that transition from who he was to like then, I shouldn't say now, but like then, it gave him this confidence that like he still didn't realize like how attractive he was, how kind he was, all these different things, but like it was, you could still tell that like he carried himself with confidence even if he didn't internally realize that. And I think subconsciously there was a part of me that when I did start lifting, that's kind of where it started, was like, wow, it really worked for Alex to get his shit together by working out. That was just like the base of him being inspired to do things, and like it kind of, I think, inspired me. And then I had someone else, and that was an old friend who also, they got into fitness more steadily, and that inspired me too. Like seeing someone choosing a healthy thing and it transforming them internally to outside, like
you kind of see
it was attractive to me,
like a catalyst.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of starts your journey and kind of changes, you know, I used to say trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
It's like you can like keep going the same way, or like you can go down, but like once you have that catalyst, it kind of projects you in a different trajectory. And you, like definitely with me, it improved my life and kind of changed it to a point where I don't know like what I would be if I didn't start, you know, exercising or doing sports or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that alternate universe you that's just like a totally different person.
I just often think like, what did I do with my time? Just sit and write. I definitely did a lot more photography then. Yeah. That's the difference. But other than that, I'm still like, what did I do with my time? Like, how do I value?
You're still doing photography now. It's just selfies and it's, you know, posting your workouts and what do you get out of that? Like posting your workouts and kind of having that interaction with your followers.
So that started, actually, I remember talking with my sister Heidi about stuff and about fitness. Sorry, I'm gonna like fidget my hair. And this was 2016, end of 2016. So I didn't really post much about my fitness journey or working out. I mean, people who know me knew that I was a gym junkie, but like it wasn't this whole persona. Like I have a whole persona with my other account being Hannah Lou. Like I have people who actually are like, I have met them in person and they call me Hannah Lou. Like that's what, so it's like kind of a persona of me, and I try to represent myself as much as possible. Not to be like, this is real, it's not Instagram. Like, yeah, it's filtered, but like it's still me. So I was talking to my sister Heidi and I was like, you know, I've been thinking about what if I made a fitness account where I post all of my progress separately, because I just didn't feel like it fit the aesthetic of Hannah Lou. Even though it's like, it's such a part of me, it never was something that I really talked about or boasted about or whatever. It felt weird to be like, look at my body, I look incredible. So like, I just wanted something separate. And then that's kind of where I started actually taking progress photos or posting workouts. Like I barely did that. I could probably count like maybe 10 times in the last, well, at that time, what was that, 3 years I've been into lifting that I probably had posted anything about it. And I'm very active, so like it on social media and in real life, but I'm very active on social media. So like it transformed me. Having Hannah Lives definitely challenged me against me to be stronger. I think that's part of it.
Yeah, I think it definitely, like you said, it's a different part of you that you didn't feel comfortable with, like with your normal people that follow you for knowing you. I definitely think it added to your life, because I don't feel, some people have like these different accounts and like they're a totally different person on this one and they are in this one, but this kind of adds on to what you already were on your other account.
Yeah.
And I think it's super inspiring, especially for me. I've been working out like you, like since I was 12, and so mainly lifting weights, and I get super bored with my routine sometimes. So it's always fun to see someone who's like
doing something different.
Doing something different, posting like, you know, seeing your results. Like I said, it's very inspiring, especially for someone who doesn't have that, you know, background in training or anything like that. And so tell me more, kind of how, like what do you feel about Hannah Lifts in general? Like what's, like when you do a post, like what are you trying to get out of that?
So I think the people who know me, that follow me on Hannah Lifts, they're looking for, I mean, I think people enjoy seeing my progress and being like, wow, Hannah's badass, but also I think it inspires other women, and I think I've noticed this more at the gym too. Like more and more I've had random women asking me like, what do you do to have such a toned butt? Or like, what are you, like, I see you working really hard. Are you training your friend? And how can I get in on that? And I'm like, ooh, you can't pay me. But like, I think it's mostly like people who have been like, hey, would you, like, you should post the workouts you do, so then, you know, maybe we'll do them too. And that's kind of why I don't post so that people, I mean, I post so that people see what I'm doing. But also like now I think since I'm lifting heavier, part of it is to kind of like show off a little bit, like I can do this now. But it's also like, I mean, that's how we connected, and you were able to be like, I remember one time when you corrected my form and I was like internally like really embarrassed, and I was like, no, like this is actually really helpful. So kind of like that too, like, you know, showing that like I'm still figuring things out, fitness wise, and you know, people don't have to be embarrassed if they're wrong, like just be safe. And I definitely have had people respond like, you know, what are you doing, like what is your diet like, what is this like, how do I do this, can you post a workout doing this, or show me how to do that, or can you tell me different leg exercises, because I don't know. Like it's really cool that like just me posting something that I do. That's why I also like always add in what I like, my actual full workout at the end, so then like people can see, if they understand the way that I put it together, like
so that's
how it's formatted.
One of the things that I just questioned you on is because you have some pretty intense workouts and they're pretty long. They look pretty long.
They are.
I know you probably move pretty quickly through them. You know, like we did a deadlifting session last week, and she did not want to rest.
Nope.
Like we were trying to find her 1 rep max, and she would not like sit down and relax between. Like she just wanted to keep up in the weight and keep going. I'm like, no, you kind of need to like rest between these, so you have like, you know, the most bang for your buck, and you're not just, you know, seeing how fast you can lift it and try the next one. Like you actually want to see like legit how much can you lift. And so I know you go pretty quickly through your workout.
I try to take breathers now, but it just it gets boring.
For depending on what your goal is.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a pretty lean individual, and if you just want to be lean, you're going to be in a great shape and increase your health. Don't take as much rest. It's going to be good for you, better for your heart. But if you're really trying to get stronger and kind of see what your true max is, you have to have that rest. So you have that the most muscle fiber recruitment and motor neurons and all this sciencey crap.
That's the stuff I don't know.
Yeah. So, shameless plug. Go ahead and follow both of us. For the month of November, we're gonna try to increase Hannah's bench and deadlift by 50 pounds.
What? I thought we said 40.
No, I said 50. I said 50.
Okay.
So,
where is it 50?
So we're gonna work out twice a week, and I wanna, you know, document the workouts and what we do. I'm sure you will as well, and kind of see that progress of going from, you know, your lifts are really good right now, but we did some, since you mainly work on Smith machines, we just went over some mechanics stuff that's a little bit different with the free bar.
It's a lot of it different.
And we were able to get a test of her max on deadlift. And so later today, or maybe Wednesday when we meet, we'll try to get max bench press. And then we'll kind of document throughout the month the progress. Hopefully at the end of the month we'll have another max out and kind of see how much she improved from just, you know, a few minor things, and just kind of working on some weakness development, and just getting you used to having that free bar, not so reliant on the Smith machine. So if you guys are interested in that, go and follow both of us. We're going to be posting probably at least once a week about that. So tell me more about kind of you and your sister's relationship and how fitness kind of affects that, and kind of what the relationship is there.
Well, I would say actually fitness kind of affects my relationship with both of my sisters. So like, I mean, like Holly and I used to work out together. Like I said, we would go to White River Club and do weird workout things. I never even touched the dumbbells there. But that was something we did, and like Holly and I did a lot of active things together. We essentially grew up as if we were the same age, even though we're not. But as I've gotten older, and because somehow I've become like the poster child of lifting and health in my family, which I mean, like my sister's a nurse, so like she is definitely overall healthier than I am, but somehow it's kind of like incorporated into like my personality, as in like my sisters will often talk to me about what they're doing and how they're crushing their goals or struggling with their goals, and like Holly's into trying anything and everything.
She just ran.
She's intense.
A race this weekend, right?
Yeah, she just ran a 5-mile race. Like running's not her thing.
Is that Mountain State?
A lot of things aren't her thing, but she just does it anyway. And it's like, I don't care. I'm gonna try it. And like that's more than me. Like I'm like, if I'm good at this, I'll consistently do it.
Yeah.
If I'm not good, well, I guess if it's not, I'm not good. But I don't like cardio as much. That's what lifters always say.
Yeah.
But it's because it hurts my knees from all that volleyball diving. I can't do too much. But yeah, so like, it kind of has become a part of our relationships, and both of them get excited to do things with me or work out with me. And it almost makes me feel like I'm kind of like a health coach.
Yeah.
Just because it's so cool when people are willing to share with me what they're doing and how much they're progressing. And my sister Heidi has been more inspired to do actual lifting. She's a runner, but she's been doing actual lifting, and her husband's he doesn't lift often, but he's a skilled lifter when he does, and so he's been able to teach her techniques. And like, she's like, yeah, I've been deadlifting. I'm like, oh my god. And Holly's been posting about how she wants to try deadlifting. So I think that's kind of like, it's cool to see my sisters so open to trying new things because of me starting something different. And I don't know if that like fully influenced them, but at least partially. And so like, it's definitely a huge part of our lives now, maybe because of me, or I don't know.
Yeah, so you and Holly both met me for an outdoor workout. So we did free workout Fridays in October. I'm going to share the video of the workout. They both were doing some badass things with a tire, and we had some fun. Found out kind of some things we needed to work on. But it was great. They're both amazing.
Holly
athletes.
can jump now.
Yes.
Sorry, Holly.
No, so as you don't see in the video, I didn't get Holly on video doing the jumps in and out of the tire. She was kind of struggling.
She was very scared. I think she was more scared than anything. That she's
I mean, it's pretty scary. I mean, you're jumping over a tire, and there's concrete all around you, so there's that innate fear of like, you know, tripping and kind of
falling on your face.
Falling on your face, especially, you know, around new people is kind of scary.
It's a little intimidating to do weird things around new people.
It's like, hi, nice to meet you. Now do this with a tire.
Now sweat a lot and throw things and grunt on video.
Yes, and we're videotaping, so there's that. But no, I'll share the link to that. It was a great time, and you guys were badass. So, just kind of wrap this up. Just tell me kind of thoughts on like how exercising and lifting weights has kind of like changed not only you, but just kind of like your outlook on life.
Okay. Well, like I mentioned before, I think it definitely changed my persona and how I come across and how I'm known at work, at the jobs I've had. Like my last 3 jobs, it's like, oh, get Hannah to help you lift this. Hannah's the strongest person here. And like, you know, that kind of thing. And I never really expected that. My very emotional self is like, that's amazing. They think I'm so strong and incredible.
They like me. I have a purpose.
Well, I mean, purpose, but like, I don't care if I'm liked. That's a lie. But yeah, so it definitely, like, I remember, I grew up I grew up pretty strict, and confidence of like self-image and body confidence were definitely low things. I had very low self-esteem, and it's something that I definitely struggle with being so picky on my physique. It's like the better you get with your physique, the more and more you still see all of these things that aren't quite right. They aren't quite perfect, or not perfect, but like, because nothing can be perfect, but they're not quite what you want all the time. No one tells you that when you lift, like, while you might be really muscular and like, but like, that's flexing. That's not how you are in your just vegetative state of like lounging. You don't look like that. No one tells you that. But
like me, like I only look good like maybe 2 sets in when I have a pump and everything. Like if I took my shirt off right now, you wouldn't tell that I work out.
Well, you would if I did, but that's because I'm currently like cutting weight. But yeah, so it definitely, I feel it's definitely influenced my confidence, and even just the very rare photos that I took from when I started to now, the way I took the photo, the way I'm posed in the photo, the way my face looks, it's completely different. Like, I remember you comment on a photo I sent you, like, or that I posted, you were like, what?
Yeah,
like, the hair, the face, nothing looks like you. And I'm just...
You've had some great hairstyles.
But I don't look like the same person.
Yeah, the one I commented on, like, you just look totally different, like a totally different person.
I know.
And that's what I love about fitness and seeing those transformations when they're healthy. Like, I know people post like their show day things and they're super shredded, but like you post like this is pretty close to what your normal everyday
what I look like most of the time. Yeah.
And it's a really cool transformation because you go from like this kind of skinny girl, you could maybe see, you know, being an athlete, to like this really toned, athletic, definitely looks like you lift weights now, type of person. And I can definitely tell in your facial expressions that you're definitely more confident, you're happier, and not as emotional as you were in some of the
not as
old photos.
I mean, like, I definitely would. I mean, like, it was my emo phase when I first started lifting weights. It was 2013, so I mean, but it was definitely people around me encouraging me to like line up a bit. When you meet the right people who tell you, like, laugh at your sadness, like, that's definitely helped me a lot. And like working out definitely is where I feel my rage and let it out, because I don't let myself be an angry person. So got a lot of anger in there, and then lifting weights definitely helps release that. But I remember I had a boss when I worked for Myers at the gas station. My boss and I were talking. It was a female, so like, don't be freaked out. But we were talking, and it was me summertime, and she mentioned something about like fashion, and I was like, oh yeah, I could never wear a crop top, blah blah blah. And she was like, what are you talking about, Hannah? Don't you lift weights? And I was like, yeah. Like, well, you have the physique for it. You're very athletic. You're toned, right? Like, why aren't you dressing for your body type? And I don't know why that blew my mind at the time, but then like from then on, I was like, oh, like, I should be dressing more particularly to like the fact that I am athletic. So then like, like, if you looked at my photos, or you could look at me like a picture book, because it's not really fully on like Instagram or Facebook, but like the way I even started dressing myself started changing, like discovering what works for me, discovering what kind of body type I even have. It's just, like I've definitely changed the shape of my body in ways that I never expected. Like, it wasn't the intention.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed in the photo as well. Like, your demeanor, your hair, and then you can definitely tell a difference in what you were wearing, because like you used to wear like clothes that kind of just
I had stuff covered more.
Yeah, and you didn't like, you couldn't really tell what your body shape looked like. It just looked like you had clothes on, they were just like hanging straight down.
Yeah. I
always
wore shorts and a loose tank top, and then I like sometimes used to tuck it in all the way around. Or wear, like, I used to wear, I'd wear leggings, but then I'd wear stuff that covered my butt, and like just very self-conscious, because like I said, we're strict with how I was supposed to dress when I was younger. So definitely changed a lot. The more and more confident I got, and also from like looking at social media of other women who lift and how they dress and how they carry themselves. Like, part of it is like faking it till you make it, like, seeing how other people are doing it and mimicking that until it becomes routine. Like, sure, they're workouts, but mostly like watching their confidence has definitely helped me see, oh, this is like how I'm supposed to look as being a lifter.
And just to touch on, I think that helps a lot when you don't want to feel like that person who's like videotaping yourself. But I definitely think in your case, it helped you kind of see what you were doing, and then you can compare that to someone else that you might be trying to mimic.
Yeah.
That way,
I know what
your form gets better that way, and you also can like make those differences in kind of what it should look like and what you look like. And I think that's a big key, especially anyone who's working out on their own or doesn't have that instruction or a trainer in their life. Definitely video, like definitely things you feel uncomfortable with.
Yeah. And
comparing that video to someone else who might be an expert doing that.
No, it definitely helps. Yeah. I had a friend help me with that.
Yeah, and I think that definitely will help anyone on their own kind of, make sure they're doing things correctly and safely.
Yes.
So definitely don't feel bad. Invest in like a little tripod and video your exercises. Something I want to do more of.
Or find random things to prop it up on, like a dumbbell.
Yeah. If you have like a gallon, you can put that on a bench and then lean your phone up again. That's what I usually do. So I'm not like breaking out like getting my tripods and lights and stuff.
I can't do that at
Yeah.
Planet Fitness, but we'll change that.
So yeah, thank you. Any tips or advice that you want to give women or men out there to kind of help them?
Track your workouts for sure, especially like the compound lifts. Track how much you're doing, how much weight, how many reps. I didn't start tracking workouts religiously until last year, surprisingly. Maybe, I don't know if that's surprising. And yeah, like it's definitely so that I can look back. One, you can keep track of what you've worked on. Maybe more people have already doing this, and I just was like slow to the train. But it's definitely incredible to see how far you've come. Just comparing yourself to yourself, that definitely helps me the most. I don't like comparing myself to other people, even though I'm still. Anyway, that's a whole side note. So like, yeah, definitely track your workouts.
Another podcast.
Track your workouts. It will help you tremendously. And also drink lots of water. I drink way too much water. Probably gonna die from overhydration.
Water poisoning.
Water poisoning.
That's a real thing.
But that's one of the main things I consistently do now that I know that are efficient and definitely help you is drinking lots of water and keeping track of what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also doing it.
Yeah. Touch on that point. I know Hannah uses like notes app or whatever. Just
my notepad.
To write on there. What I find helpful is if you don't already, save your phone number as a contact, and then I will just write in or copy and paste my workout and put it in a text message, and I'll just text that to myself. And so I don't have to go to the notes and kind of find which day. So everything's in there. Let's scroll up and down, kind of see like where has like it's timestamped, so you have the date, time of your workout, and then you just write in what the workout is, and then just add like how many sets you did at this weight, and that way you can go back and you can look like, okay, 3 weeks ago I was doing this amount, and you can kind of track that progress. And that's what you're going to find results with is, sure, you can go and do a new crazy workout every time you go in and you'll see results, but if you want to continue going up and improving, you definitely have to track.
Yeah.
Because to progressively overload, you'll need to add over time or add volume, add sets, reps, or weight, or all three. They continue to see that progress. That's when people like stall, like their weight loss stalls, because they're doing a new workout every time and there's no progression. So yeah, you're shocking your body, but you're not, doing the things that it needs to keep, losing weight. So like when you're on a diet, continually to lose calories, to be in that calorie deficit, because your body's gonna get, okay, you lose a couple pounds, your body's gonna get used to that weight. So you have to decrease that more so you get down a little bit lower. So tracking diet and workouts is definitely key to see results.